So why don't you speak up? When you see somebody doing something stupid or silly or frustrating, maybe it's a coworker or your kid or your parent or friend or your partner, they're doing something that isn't great. They're making someone else's life miserable or their own life miserable in some way, and you don't say anything. Why not? There's a lot of good reasons, right? You might be worried about them getting defensive. You might feel like you don't have all the facts. You might feel like it's not your place. But there's one reason, especially these days, that it's incredibly common and it's hard to overcome. It's this. It's that you see that thing and then you move on. Something else happens in your life. We're all so busy. We have so much going on right now that even when we see somebody in our life, somebody that we care about, somebody that we even love, we want to help them. It's like this flash moment in time and then it's gone. And then we're off doing 19 other things. And it's really difficult to have enough of a touch point, enough consistency with that person where it rises to the level of, okay, I got to say something. Which is why, if you think about your relationships, there's kind of like these three tiers, right? You have your most inner circle, like your spouse, and maybe if kids live with you, the people that you live in a physical environment every single day. It's like if they're doing something, it's going to rub on you, and the intensity is going to be there, and the angst is going to be there, and it's going to make it more likely that you feel like, I got to say something, right? And even then, a lot of people make a lot of excuses to not lean into those conversations. But all the motivation is there. You've got the friction and the tension, and those touch points are with you like many times a day sometimes. Then you have that kind of that next layer, the people that you interact with regularly, maybe your parents, maybe some close friends that you keep in touch with, maybe some coworkers that you see. And you've got a little bit of that friction, but maybe not enough. It starts to already degrade where maybe you see them for a couple of minutes a week, or you have a phone call. And it's just too easy to let that annoying thing or that bad habit or there they go again. It's just too easy to let it go, to let it slide. And then you think of that third tier of the people on the periphery of your life. Well, it's going to be really unlikely where you're going to feel enough angst and enough of a touch point with that person to like really, it's going to take a lot of courage to go and talk to this person that you don't even have that relationship with. And this is one of the challenges of the modern world. A lot of traditional societies and a lot of modern societies too, where people live together in close quarters, there's something beautiful about that because you see people every day, you interact with them enough, there's a trust and there's an environment where you have a ground for those types of communication where you can lean in and maybe you can say something that's intense, but it doesn't have to feel like the end of the world because you have a relationship. There's a context. And that's really what I want you to look for in your life is how do you create some kind of group environment like that, right? Maybe it's a peer group that you get together with on a regular basis. Maybe you have some kind of therapeutic group or spiritual group or other group of people that you get together with where you get to know people, where there's a context for your relationship. Without that, it's extremely difficult to create an environment where you can have those types of conversations. There's just not enough trust. There's not enough safety. There's not enough joy. There's not enough getting to know people. So how can you work against that real challenge in the modern world? How can you build a little bit more togetherness, even if it's virtual togetherness? Physical is better. Being in real places in real time with each other is better once a week, every once in a while, where you get together, where you learn something about each other that isn't so transactional. That's part of the challenge that we face. We all face. I do too, in the modern world where we spend so much time on the computer, on the screen, and these very transactional relationships. That might be our biggest challenge is how do we create context for relationships so that we can have joy, so that we can have fun together, so we get to know each other and we can feel belonging, but also so that we can get into it with one another and we can tell each other the truth without it having to blow things up.